Hi, it's good to be together. I am Dr. Kimber, and I am here with you in this live stream. We're going to talk today about food dyes. Now, you probably have been hearing a lot about it. I know I have. Uh, it's we're hearing about it on Facebook. We're hearing about it all over, especially if you're trying to live a little bit in that holistic realm. And so I wanted just to jump on today and really talk about that. I think one of the reasons that I decided that I wanted to do this is a couple of weeks ago, I was in the grocery store and I saw this young mom with these kids, and I looked in her cart. I don't know if you ever look in people's carts, but I looked in her cart and I saw a bunch of stuff, but then I saw this box of tricks and whatnot. And I'm like, if only she knew how unhealthy all the food dyes in that box of tricks was. I don't blame her. I didn't know. But that's what we're doing this for, because we want to educate. We have to learn. And over the years, I have had to learn and educate myself and make changes. And I get these moments of, oh my gosh, I did not know. And I'm going to share a couple of those with you in just a moment. So, thank you for being here. Share where you're listening from. It's always fun in this community to know where you're listening from. And if you have questions, this is your time. Ask questions. I'll do my very best to answer for you. So what foods do you think, if we're going to talk about food dyes today, what foods do you think contain the most artificial food dyes? All right. What foods? Maybe candy, maybe soda, cereal. I mentioned cereal, right? Here's the crazy thing, and that is that there is food dyes in some of the oddest places that you would have never thought there to be food dye in. So I'm going to let me reveal right now. This is old. I had it on hand. Don't use it. I learned about the food dye in this over-the-counter allergy medicine, cetirizine, and believe it or not, if I look at the ingredients here, and this happened to me one day, I thought, oh, this is one thing that I, used periodically, and I was reading the labels just out of curiosity one day, and sure enough, blue number 1. And it's a white pill. I couldn't figure it out. I mean, in my mind, I think, well, if it has some color to it, then all right. But why? Why would this have food dye in it, right? So that was a surprise to me. Maybe you're surprised with some of the things too that you look at. Maybe you haven't looked at your labels, and that's okay if you haven't. It's a new year. Maybe this is a new goal for you to take a look at the labels. But there are unexpected places that we find food dyes. Wasabi peas, believe it or not, blue number 1 and yellow number 5 are found in wasabi peas. Smoked salmon product, healthy yogurt brands. I know, those yogurts that we are supposed to find that they are healthy, they can have food dye in them. You got to read your labels. Pickled ginger, salad dressings. Look at really what you're using for your salad dressing. Marinades and sauces. This is a big one. I've known that a lot of things hide in marinades and sauces because I've lived a gluten-free life for a very long time, over a decade. And so I've had to check my labels with marinades and sauces because there's a lot of hidden gluten in those. But who would have thought that there was hidden food dye in them as well, right? So we have to become investigators in this journey. Now, much of the information that I am going to talk about today, I got from EWG.org. It's a research organization that publishes a ton of great information that I reference all the time. I find them very reliable, and I'll put the link in the comments so that you can actually go on and get familiar with EWG.org. There's all kinds of things from food, like we're going to talk about, all kinds of great articles. There's also sites on there, Skin Deep, that you can check out all of your ingredients that you're using on your face, on your skin, on your teeth, personal care, body care, all of that. So I really encourage you to do that. Do you realize that just becoming aware of what the labels say will make a huge impact in your life. Huge. So if nothing else changes for you in 2025, I want to encourage you to just read the labels and just have one goal. Stay away from food dyes or chemicals that are listed in those labels. That's just one goal. Now, if you're kind of a little bit confused about that, I do have a new course that I finished and it's ready for you. It's called the Environmental Toxin Course, and it's a self-led course. So once you purchase it, you take it at your own pace. There's 5 different modules. So you can either do it all in one day or you can do it over a course of 5 weeks or however long it takes you. But I will tell you, it is hands down one of the most informative courses that you can take because it's going to educate you about the air that you breathe, the waters that you drink, the things that you put on your skin, the foods that you put in your body. And that course alone, if you can follow some of the things in that course alone, it will make also a huge impact in your health journey. All right, so let's get back to talking about how big this food dye problem is. There's 3 dominant dyes that make up 90% of the U.S. food dye usage. It's red dye, number 40, yellow dye, number 5, and yellow dye, number 6. All right, so you can kind of think red, yellow, and then they can get a little complicated in there. So if you see red and yellow and you just can't remember those numbers, just stay away from it anyhow. But the ones that are the 3 dominant ones are the ones that I just listed. The red, number 40, the yellow, number 5, and yellow, number 6. They presently are in over 36,000 food products. 36,000 food products, right? If you are amazed at this, at anything that you're hearing or stunned, put it in the comments. Let me know. Just say, wow. Say, I can't believe it. Whatever you want to say, just let me know. Here's something interesting. In 2001, 50% of food products contain additives. In 2019, so 18 years later, 60% of food products contained additives. That's a huge increase, right? And so we have to realize that what we grew up on, the foods that we grew up on, are not the same as what we can give our kids today. It's sad because sometimes there's a lot of emotional connection to those, but they aren't the same. And so we have to be aware of that. Companies are not required to disclose the quantities of the preservatives or the dyes that they use in their foods, and it's very difficult for us to even track how much of one thing is in those foods. And so we don't know. We just know that they're in there. And so that's the awareness that we need to stay away from. Okay, so let's kind of talk a little bit about the 7 worst artificial dyes. Okay, so first, blue dye number 1. Why is that so bad? There's studies will show us that developmental delays that are observed in animal studies, behavioral difficulties, nervous system impacts. All right, so behavior, nervous, developmental delays. Okay, so then there's blue dye number 2. So what do we find there? They're in rat studies, they have found tumors to develop. And green dye number 3, what do we find there? We have found bladder tumor correlation. And then there's red dye number 3. So red dye number 3, and then there is found in rat studies cancer correlation with that. And interestingly enough, that has been banned in cosmetics by the FDA, but it's not banned in food. What? Crazy, right? Still allowed in food and currently present in over 3,000 products. All right. Then there's red dye number 40. Okay, I just mentioned that one just a little bit ago. Critical development period concerns. All right. If your children are in school, of school age, if they are before at all, your children, you want them to learn. You want them to have the best advantage to learn as possible. And giving them this dye is not helping them. It impacts the brain development. And it is the most widely used dye. Red dye number 40. All right. All right, I just want to check in a little bit. I want to say hello to a couple of people. I want to say hello to Ellie. Good to have you here. I also want to say hello to Colton. Well, hello. Good to see you. Great to have you on board with us. I know that you're passionate about this as well, Colton. So awesome. All right, let's talk about yellow dye number 5. Yellow dye number 5. 1 milligram of yellow dye number 5 could actually affect sensitive children. Children who are sensitive to it, you can see a noticeable difference in their irritability, restlessness, sleep disturbance. So if your kids are having a difficult time sleeping, check your labels. Okay, you're going to hear me say that a lot. Check your labels. Check your labels. All right. Then there's yellow dye number 6. That's another one of the 7 worst artificial dyes. There's cancer-causing chemicals that are associated with yellow dye number 6. All right. So we just finished the holidays, and we have some things in our house that we normally don't have over the holidays. Plus, we had a big wedding in the beginning of December. We had another wedding in July. So we've had this whole year of crazy celebrations. And in my freezer, and I don't usually buy this, but I wanted to prove a point here. In my freezer, I had M&Ms. All right. So normally you get the little pack. I know. Costco, probably I picked them up. I'm telling you, I'm never picking them up again. Because I was reminded as I was going through and just reading my labels, I just really wanted to have some actual things on hand that from my house. One, accountability to me, right? You're holding me accountable for the things that are in my house. But I just want to read this to you. So what's in M&Ms? Now, well, they're colorful, so we know food dye is in there. So we have blue, number 1, yellow, number 6, red, number 40. There it is. Yellow, number 5, blue, number 1, yellow, number 6. I already said that. Okay, so almost all of these food dyes that we just listed are in the M&Ms. Let's think about this a second. How many times do we reward kids for doing a good job with M&Ms? I know my son, this was over 30 years ago, when he was potty training, I gave him an M&M, right? No M&Ms, right? How about school? How many kids get M&Ms? I know that my grandsons, when they achieve a goal in school, they get like 5 M&Ms. How many times are we sending food coloring, food dye in our kids' lunch in the form of little mini M&M packets or Skittles? Don't even get me started on Skittles. Okay? We got to read those food labels. I'm going to throw that in the trash. I mean, clearly it's almost gone. And I feel sick about the ones that I did feed that. And I knew what I was doing. But yeah, I'm throwing it away. Here's the one that I found in my cupboard, actually in the fridge, because we had cinnamon rolls. Well, some of the family had cinnamon rolls over the holidays. They were healthy cinnamon rolls, go figure. But I didn't feel like I had time to make the frosting, so I picked up the frosting. White frosting. Okay, I'm not going to do color because I knew that was bad. So I look at my label, yellow dye 5 and 6. Go figure. It's going in the trash. I will make my own frosting from now on, which shame on me, I should have. Okay, but we all know what it's like to be busy, especially through the holidays. So just a little bit of reading on your labels can reveal a ton of what you're feeding your family, of what you're allowing into your home, and hold you accountable to your children having the best opportunity out there to learn, to developmentally grow, to have healthy bodies, and for you not just your children, but for you, right? We have to be healthy. We have a purpose. We need to be healthy. All right. I wanted to share with you a couple of really amazing things about regulations. First of all, did you know that in Europe, the European Union, they put warning labels on all the products that have red dye number 40, yellow dye number 5, and yellow dye number 6. In other words, there would have been a warning label on this right here telling me that it had yellow dye 5 and 6, and I would not have gotten it. Okay, so I didn't have to just use my eyes to see if there was color. There would be that label there. The FDA, our FDA in the US, have not reviewed some of the dyes for over 40 years. Some of them have not been reviewed since 1969, okay, which is even more than 40 years. There's no requirement for reevaluation. So our food companies do not have any requirement for that. That's crazy. Now, yay, California. From the state level, California banned red dye number 3. All right, remember, red dye number 3 is cancer causation. In rat studies, we see that. But it doesn't go into effect until 2027. All right, hopefully we'll see some more of that. It is currently in legislation for states like Illinois, New York, Pennsylvania, okay? But hopefully we're going to see some more things turning around. If you want to put it in there, fine. Just put a label, a big fat label on there that tells me it's in there, right? So that we know. All right, so let's talk about some hidden sources that, and I kind of shared a few that I found in my cupboards. I do encourage you to go to your cupboards and just go through and just look what's in there. I mean, go through your pantry, go through your refrigerator, go through your freezer, see if you can find some of those hidden dyes. But here's some for you in some of our prepared foods, like salmon products, canned salmon products, meal starters, restaurant food. Those foods that are prepared for us oftentimes have those hidden food dyes. Then in children's snacks, yogurt products, we talked about that, especially your berry flavors. So actually, get the Greek yogurt unflavored, add your own cinnamon and honey. My grandson has that every single morning. It's one of the best little sources of protein for his little 3-year-old body. And he loves it. He was just over yesterday and I made it for him. He loves it. Applesauce cups, cheese products, especially like your processed cheese products, like those little cheese cup things with the little breadsticks. I don't even know what they're called anymore, but they have a little cheese case right here and then the breadsticks. Stay away from those. Ellie says, did you know marshmallows have blue dye? Yes. And did you know, Ellie, that you can actually get organic marshmallows? You can get them through Thrive Market, Whole Foods. So have those on hand for when you want to have that hot chocolate, right? Thanks for sharing that. Individual snack packs. So those little individual yogurt or puddings, stay away from those, okay, for our kids. Condiments and sauces like dressings and marinades. We talked about that already. Hot sauces. I did go through. I'm not a hot sauce lover, but my family members are. So I went through and checked all our hot sauces. Thankfully, I did not see any in there. Dried fruits, trail mixes. A lot of times because they have those colored M&Ms or colored chocolate candies. Here's another one that you might not know about. Lemon pepper seasoning. Okay, so these are all places that you might find unexpected food dyes in your foods. So what do? Well, number one, read your labels. It's important. Keep an eye on those labels. I've said that multiple times already. Number two, look up EWG.org. You can search more than 80,000 foods in EWG.org. And the way that it works is one is the best and 10 is the worst. Not too long ago, my daughter-in-law and I looked up, what did we look up? Propel. We looked up Propel water, not to pick on Propel, but I'm going to pick on Propel. We looked it up on ewg.org because she's trying to, clean out her house and make it healthy for her family, which I love her for. So Propel is a number 9. So she announced to her family that they were finding something different to drink. That's all because she just did a little bit of research, right? If you go to ewg.org to search the food database, it's going to show you photos like this that you see on the screen. Okay, so now there's also the Healthy Living app that you can put on your phone. And that way, when you're in the grocery store, you can scan over the foods. You can do product comparisons, so it helps you to find a better alternative. And then it helps you to rate the foods. So it might take you a little bit of time at first when you're going through the grocery store, but that's okay. Take that time. It's worth it. Now, if you like to follow different people on Instagram, Facebook, the Food Babe, she's fantastic. I love her stuff. Shout out to her. She has done a lot of research and she's very passionate about this topic. So check her out and give her a follow. All right. So can you do this? Yes, you can. You can do this because it will impact your health. It will help you to feel better. It can help you neurologically. It's a small step into a great big change that you can make for yourself and for your family. Read your ingredient lists carefully. Look past the marketing claims. You might see terms like natural or healthy. That's not a guarantee that it's a dye-free food. All right? If it says organic, that is a guarantee, but not if it just says natural or healthy. And then create a go-to list for these dye-free foods. Now, I don't know if you yet are grocery shopping online, but it's a great way to, you have to physically go and check them out at the grocery store and then make your list. And that way you can send off your grocery list and have them pick exactly what you want and pick it up in the future because you have a list, a go-to list of dye-free foods. Focus on your whole foods. If God made it, it's not got dyes in it. It's natural. And speaking of that, you can so we use some food dye, food coloring over the holidays, but you can get natural food coloring. And so check that out as well. It's fantastic. It's all natural ingredients that are made from plants. So it's plant-based food dye. So we didn't lose out on those green Christmas treats that we made. And then replace your artificial beverages, which often have a ton of dyes in them. Replace them with water, just good, healthy water. And if you don't like the taste of water, add some lemon, add some lime, add orange, add cucumber. It does change the taste of your water, and it's wonderful. All right, so those are some ways. I just want you to live the best life that you're called to live and to live the healthiest life that you're called to live. Look at the environmental toxins course. It could make a huge difference in helping you to be more knowledgeable. I'll put a link for that so you can check it out. I also want to announce that I have finished a Parasite Master Course. And so that is ready for you. And so if you have been following me for a while and you're familiar with the fact that I do attribute a lot of chronic illness and a lot of chronic symptoms to parasites, this is a course that is for you. It's a self-led course. So you purchase the course, you do the course every day if you want, once a week, however long it takes you. And it's all laid out for you, over 280 different slides, tons of education, helping you to be the most knowledgeable person you can be, and heal yourself. So that might be something you might find interest in. And then finally, I'm here for you. If you would like to reach out and talk, have a call with me, please do that. I'll put a link in there. We can talk about your specific issues that are going on and help you get on a path to good health. It's 2025. It's going to be a great year. I cannot wait to see how we grow together in our knowledge of health and in our healthy bodies. Thanks for